Hey, they're popping champagne somewhere in South Florida as the NFL's last unbeaten team has gone down. Welcome into NFL Game Day Final alongside my buddies, three-time Pro Bowler D'Angelo Hall and Adam Rank. I'm Omar Reese. I don't think anybody saw this coming, but a couple years ago, it was the Washington team that went into Pittsburgh on a Monday night and ended that perfect season attempt, doing it tonight in Philadelphia. Let's put some points on the board as Washington put 32 points on the board in their 32-21 win. D'Angelo, we'll start with you. What's your first point on this Monday Night Classic?
And I know it sounds a little corny, but let's say the Commanders commanded this game, fellas. I mean, come on. They were just hitting on all cylinders. There, Terry McLaurin makes another big catch. I mean, it didn't matter. They ran the ball 47 times. And, you know, we saw watching the broadcast. Didn't have a lot of success, but they stuck to it, and it opened things up down the field in the passing game. Man, this is the way this team has to play moving forward to win games.
Yeah, you know what? I've been really impressed with the way Washington has commanded their football games over the last couple of weeks. I think the biggest reason why is my point number two, which is why was Tyler Heinicke not starting before this week? Did I say Tyler? Taylor Heinicke, of course. Here's my thing. Like, why did they get away from him? What were they thinking bringing in Carson Wentz? Nobody wanted that outside of Carson Wentz. It is inexcusable. They're 5-5. They're in the hunt right now. But you have to wonder, what would their record be had they just started the season with Heinicke? I think that this offense looks completely different. You see what it's meant for Terry McLaurin. I mean, Terry McLaurin was lost for weeks. And now, ever since Heinicke has been the starting quarterback, he's become an all-pro wide receiver once again. This isn't hard to figure out. He should have been the quarterback all along.
Hey, Rank, you're absolutely right. That's why Ron Rivera, you know, he's the decision maker too. So to bring a guy like Carson Wentz in, who a lot of us on the outside didn't think that Carson was the guy, we like Taylor Heinicke. So it's going to be interesting to see if he goes back to Carson Wentz or he keeps riding that hot hand of Taylor Heinicke right now.
Oh, he cannot bench him.
Carson Wentz now eligible to come off IR. Taylor Heinicke 10-9 now in the starter. And who can forget him going toe-to-toe with Tom Brady in the playoffs a couple years ago? Let's get to point number three, D'Angelo. What is it?
For me, it has to be the Eagles' turnovers, right? When you talk about the way that even big play after big play, that right there, huge interception by Derek Forrest. But I even think about not the Dallas Goedert play. You got the missed face mask there, right? Supposed to be an Eagles first down. They fumble the ball. Big play for the Commanders. And then Quez Watkins, he makes a huge play and then gets stripped. Like, that just doesn't happen. And so the Eagles had only turned the ball over 3 times all season, 3 in this game. Tough to overcome those turnovers, and the Commanders were able to take that football away.
And this is why it's so difficult for teams to run the table, to be undefeated. Now, even though the Eagles committed 4 turnovers tonight, it doesn't mean they're a bad team. They're still a quality football team. These things happen. Washington was opportunistic, so don't trip out. It's fine. It's just a one-week thing. They're going to be okay.
Philadelphia coming into the game was #1 in turnovers on offense, taking care of the football. They were #1 on defense, getting the football. Certainly not the case tonight. Adam, what's your point number 4?
Well, I was impressed with the running game of the Washington Commanders. Now, if you look at what Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson were able to do, they weren't fantastic. They weren't unbelievable. I mean, they both averaged less than 4 yards per carry, but they were still very effective with their runs. And I think that these two players in tandem, when you can get them going, this is one of the things that really helps out a player like Taylor Heinicke, really helps this offense. And next week, they've got a great matchup again. I think that Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson next week will run wild against the Houston Texans. So I'm really impressed by what they were able to do. And it's one of the reasons why they were able to keep the ball away from the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, Ray, you're absolutely right. I love Scott Turner's mentality of saying, hey, guys, I don't care what they do. We're going to run this football. We're going to slow down this clock a little bit. And, I mean, it worked to perfection. It made third downs manageable, and they were able to continue to get first down. So you're right. I love that 1-2 punch of Gibson and Robinson, man. Them two dudes look good. Two different style backs, too.
Yeah, 49 carries for the Washington Commanders and that offense. 26 of them by Brian Robinson for 86 yards, including that touchdown. He caught up with our James Palmer after the game.
You guys knock off the only undefeated team left in the NFL on the road. How'd you do it?
Hey, man, we put the work in, man. We prepared for it, man. We ain't thinking about no records when we come out here. We just coming out here to play physical. You know, we do everything we do to get this win, man. You know, I feel like the team, you know, they bought into the process of, you know, what we're trying to come here and do. I'm so excited, to get this win out here.
You guys carry the football almost 50 times in this game. A good way to keep an offense like Jalen Hurts has from scoring is keeping them off the field. Was that your game plan coming into this one?
That was the coach's game plan, man. So, I'm all about it. If you say you want to get a running back the ball, I just got to give him a reason to want to keep giving us the ball. And I feel like, he did a great job of keeping us involved early and throughout the game. And, that made a big difference by the end of the game, yeah.
Taylor Heinicke's won 3 of 4 for you guys. What confidence level do you guys have in him running the offense for you?
Man, we know Taylor, man, he's going to show up and he's going to do everything he got to do to prepare to win. We got to stick beside him. We got to protect him. We got to, be a team when it comes to, being behind Taylor. And, I feel like the team has been behind him. I mean, he's done a tremendous job for us.
All right, go enjoy the win. Thank you. Appreciate it.
There's a look at the latest NFC playoff picture. The Washington Commanders just on the outside looking in at 5-5. And thanks to the Eagles' Monday Night Football win over the Vikings earlier this season, they retained the top score 32-21. The Washington Commanders improved to 5-5. And there, what did we say at the top of the show? They're celebrating in South Florida. Larry Csonka, member of the 72 Miami Dolphins, perfect season. Thank you, Washington Commanders, as in 2020 when you knocked out the Steelers. I'm a Washington fan tonight. Washington versus Philadelphia, undefeated. There you see, preserving that perfect mark, the only team to go undefeated in history. This is a perhaps controversial D'Angelo Hall as we bring you back in. Hassan Reddick, Brandon Graham, a couple of veterans. Brandon Graham, a 13-year vet, hitting Taylor Heinicke as he gave himself up. It was the penalty that decided the game eventually. D'Angelo, what did you think of that call there?
Yeah, I didn't like that call at all. And I just feel like the refs deprived us of a situation where we felt like Jalen Hurts, right? He's ascending to that next level. I wanted to see him with the ball one more time, right? 1 minute and 30-some seconds left. I wanted to see this Eagles offense get an opportunity. And, that wasn't malicious, right? I don't see many quarterbacks. As a blitzing defender, I don't see many quarterbacks who are running, about to throw that ball, and then they drop and take a knee. And as a defender, you're scrambling up. Brandon Graham kind of, bumps into him a little bit. And I'm a Commanders fan, but I just really wanted to see that moment. I hate it for the Eagles. I hate it for Brandon Graham. I've been in situations kind of similar to that, that you cost your team and you feel like, that was the reason. But I tell you what, I wanted to see the Eagles one last time, that offense, see if they could go.
And based on what we've seen so far in the 2022 season, you knew that one was going to be called. All right, Terry McLaurin has beaten the Eagles bad twice. The Eagles have yet to give up more than 80 yards to a receiver this season, except for Terry McLaurin in the 2 games this season against Washington. Study Hall, break it down for us, D'Angelo. How did he get it done tonight?
You know what? Just Terry McLaurin being Terry McLaurin. And you just see the way that Taylor Heinicke trusts him. And I think that's the biggest difference when you talk about Carson Wentz versus Taylor Heinicke. It's the rapport. It's the chemistry. And it wasn't like the Eagles didn't know he was there. It was some 50-50 balls. It was opportunities where they force-fed him at times. Even that bad interception that people say Taylor Heinicke threw late in the game that C.J. Gardner-Johnson went and got. I don't mind that play because that's where Taylor Heinicke has been winning with Terry McLaurin. It's throwing it up there and saying, my guy's better than yours, like right there. That's on Darius Slay, just a straight go route. Just saying, my guy's better than yours, and I'm going to trust him in crucial situations. You saw the same thing happen with Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson. I'm going to throw it up there, Jay Jets, because I trust you can make that play. That's the same kind of connection we're starting to see right now with Taylor Heinicke and Terry McLaurin. It's beautiful to watch.
Yeah, those 128 receiving yards, a season high for Terry McLaurin, as the Washington Commanders all of a sudden have won 4 of 5. They're 5-5 now in the thick of that playoff hunt. Here's Ron Rivera after the game at the mic.
It means a lot, just because the guys were able to stay focused on what's important. And what they did on the football field today was important. It means, it resonates with those guys. I mean, you hear them in the locker room right now, and the hard work is beginning to pay off. You know, things have turned the corner. That's starting to pay off. You know, our young guys are stepping up. Defo making the plays that he did. The guys on special teams, the young guys that play on special teams contribute, making plays. You know, Jamin Davis playing the way he's been playing lately in the absence of Cole. You know, the wide receiving crew. I mean, Terry and those guys are unbelievable. And there's a lot of guys that deserve a lot of credit in that locker room.
All right, here's a Washington Commanders tweet. 32-21. They are happy about their victory tonight. Eagles still have a chance. Well, probably the favorite still to be the #1 seed in the NFC. Let's send it over to Adam Rank, who will run through the remainder of their schedule. Adam.
All right, thanks, Omar. Now, this segment was supposed to be, when did the Eagles suffer their first loss? Now we've had to cancel like 5 of them for total access this week. But let's be realistic. They got the Indianapolis Colts this week. I know, Jeff Saturday, congratulations. You beat Josh McDaniels. The Broncos could fire their coach and hire a cat, and he would probably end up beating Josh McDaniels, too. You'll end up beating the Green Bay Packers. I know the Packers fans think their team is back. No. Petty Aaron Rodgers is going to come up for 2 games. Mike McCarthy and the Bears coming up in a couple of weeks. I will say this Titans team is slept on, very underrated. I think there could be a loss here, but you're going to get a win over the Giants. If you think I'm going to go on national television and pick a Bears, you're going to beat the Bears? No. And if you think I'm biased, yeah, you're right. But you beat the Cowboys, you beat the Saints, and let's say they're 13-3. Now, this all depends on what's going on with the Minnesota Vikings. Like, if you've got some room to breathe over the Minnesota Vikings, and you don't necessarily need this one, I'll give you a win anyways. I'll give you a 14-3 record. I think this is still a very good team. One bad loss, you're fine. But Omar.